The saying goes that if you plan, then you succeed. If you fail to plan, then you don't succeed. In fact, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. But we're talking about something a little different tonight that goes hand in hand with this idea of planning, and it is consistency. Consistency, consistency, consistency. If we can be consistent, then many of the things that we set out to do, many of those goals, those smart goals that we said that we wanted to put together in our lives, then they will succeed. We often don't succeed because we don't have a plan. And then when we have a plan, we're not consistent. So tonight we're talking about consistency. Why are we inconsistent? Hey, if you're new to me, I'm Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. I'm talking to adults with type 2 diabetes who want to put their diabetes in remission, get off of medication, and who want to reverse their diabetes. If you're new to me, go ahead and put new in the comments because I'd love to welcome you with a hand clap and some music, and let you know that we're happy that you are here. Also, if you are new to us, go ahead and if you have questions as we go throughout the show, go ahead and put those in the comments and put a Q in front of it because we'd love to be able to answer those for you. All right. So glad that you're here. Just as a backdrop, right? Just as a backdrop, I am now, let's see, 48 hours, y'all. A little bit over 48 hours into this week's fast. As you know, we've been doing a 72-hour fast. We'll come back. We'll talk about that here in just a minute to set some backdrop to what we're doing and what we're heading, where we're heading for tonight. But let me hop over and say hello. I do see some of our community members out there. Hey, everybody. How are you guys doing? Let's go back up and let's see. The light works. Hi, everybody. I'm on lunch break, so I can't stay till the end. I will catch the replay as usual. Hey, Lightworks, thanks for coming through and hanging out with us. Steve is saying hello. Hey, Steve. Steve is saying hello to Light. Glad that you are here. Light saying back hello to Steve. I love you guys just chatting hello. And here's Pamela. Pamela is saying hello to everybody. Hi Pam, hi Steve, blah blah blah. Hey, this is kind of like what was that movie? Not movie. John Boy. What show was that? Good night, John Boy. Good night, Mary Ellen. Good night, Ma. Good night, Paul. Good night, John Boy. You remember that? But I love it. I love the interaction in the community. Lightwork said I was just starting to watch the episode on the Stello when this live popped up. I'll finish that one later. Yeah. That was a good one. I liked it. All right. So as you guys know how we do here on the show, I've got my meters that we're going to take a look at, and I've got my reports that we're going to take a look at. So right here, I've got my Dexcom and my Clarity. Not Dexcom, but I've got my Keto Mojo, my Contour. We're going to look at my blood sugars in a minute. Right below me, you'll see the report for the Dexcom Clarity. And tonight I'm excited because, as Lightworks was saying, in our previous show, we talked about the Stello, which is the over-the-counter continuous monitor. And normally I will show you a Dexcom G7 and a Libre 3. And tonight I'm going to show you a Dexcom G7, Libre 3, the Stello, the Keto Mojo, and the Contour. So all of those we're going to take a look at here in just a minute. But before we do that, let's hop over and let's do a check-in, because I always want you to know where I am as we go through the fast. And one of the things that I want you to be doing and begin learning and implement is this idea of checking in with yourself, checking in with your community, so that we are remaining accountable and we're remaining present and we're remaining self-aware, right? So emotional intelligence, right? So mindfulness. So how am I doing physically? And physically, this has been an amazing week. I am tired because we went away last week. We came back and I've been staying up. As you guys know, it is one of the things that is my challenge, right? So when we talk about those things that cause us to get off track, cause us to have issues, fatigue is one of those. And fatigue is one of the places where I've got to do a better job of getting to bed and so forth. Okay. So physically, feeling fatigued, but not feeling as though I'm exhausted. Okay, so not feeling as though my energy is low. I'm not feeling lightheaded, dizzy, sweaty, any of those things that go along with this idea of low blood sugars, or the idea that a lot of people have that if you don't eat when you're not eating, then you have this decreased energy. Okay, not having that right now. We'll talk about that a little bit tonight, but as we do our check-in and our show tomorrow, then we'll go through fasting as we normally do. Okay, so physically, mentally, yeah, this has been an interesting one for me this week. I started out the week, I'm not feeling sluggish or dull, but I've spent a lot of time today and yesterday actually talking to a lot of patients, talking to folks about the triggers, right? And in my discussion with them about triggers, I was using some of my triggers in terms of talking about food and different things that I like. And so all day it's been in my head. And so this last 8 hours has been a struggle for me. In terms of maintaining my so I'm not physically hungry. Let me say that, right? So remember, a lot of times that is not physical hunger that gets to us. It is this thing right here. It is the mind. And so my mind has been going, and you know how we do when there's that thing that you want and your brain starts to create a story around it about how it's going to taste and what it's going to be like when you finally eat it. So I've been struggling with some of that mentally. And then, of course, emotionally, as I told you, getting back into the saddle for this week, coming off of our beach trip last week and kind of doing some new things in the office. We're doing some training because we have some new team members. And all of that has been taking not an emotional toll, but just a little bit more ups and downs for me this week. And I think that's one of the reasons why the conversations I've had in terms of talking to people about really the triggers has been a little triggering for me. Okay? Because I am on that kind of emotional roller coaster. Remember, the HEAT model says that habits, emotions, access, and taste are the things that push us. There are triggers, and those are the things that push us off of our eating plan and push us out of the place where we want to be. Okay? Awesome. And then let's hop over and let's take a look at monitors, take a look at some blood sugars. And like I said, I'm excited about this because I have I have a new app that we're going to be looking at that we talked about last night. So here you see on the screen, this is my Dexcom, not my Dexcom, this is my Libre 3. And the Libre 3 says that right now my blood sugar is 57. Okay, and you'll see down at the bottom, you'll see the graph that for most of the afternoon, started maybe about 4 o'clock, 4:30 or thereabouts, my blood sugars have been below 70, and that's why it's in the red. Okay, if I go over and take a look at I'm not going to do the Stelo quite yet. I'm going to go and do the Dexcom. This is G7. And you see there, my blood sugar is 106. And if I kind of hover over these things and kind of scroll through, you'll see the little numbers are changing. And that's what my blood sugar has been kind of running over the course of today. Now, one of the things I did do was I changed my ranges for the target. It used to be 70 to 180, I believe, is what I had it set at, and I've just changed that to 70 to 140, and so I get alarms now if it goes above 140 because I'm trying to tighten that up a little bit. Okay, all right. So like I said, so 57 for the Libre, 106 for the G7, and then last night here on the show I put on the Stelo. And look at the Stelo. The Stelo right now is saying that I am 90. And once again, if I put my finger over that and kind of hover through, you'll see what the Stelo has been running for today. There you go. Okay. And so here's a point that I want to make. So that's 90 to 106, right? So remember, they can be 20% different from each other. And my Stelo and my Dexcom G6 are actually on the same arm. And you'll see them there pretty close to each other. right? So this one is the Stello, and this is the G7. So pretty close to each other, and yet we have that difference in numbers. Okay, so remember that those are, and that's sometimes the place where people have a little difficulty understanding why they would be different. That's a whole nother conversation. Okay. So now let's hop over and let's take a look at what my monitors or my finger sticks will be saying. And let's see, let's grab, let's do this one. There we go. Okay. So here's my Keto Mojo. Here's my contour. Keto Mojo will give me both ketones, and it will also give me my my glucose. And of course, the contour will give me glucose. I'm going to hop over here like I did last time and pull my mic over. Let's see if I can get that. There we go. So I'm going to do this so you can hear me when I turn away from the other mic. There we go. And you should still be able to hear me. And this way I can actually talk in this direction and still do what I need to do. So here is this is the strip. Oops. Some of those fell out. This is the strip for the contour. And this is at 48 hours now. 48 hours of fasting. Let's get that one in there. And then this is the strip for the Keto Mojo. This is going to be the blood sugar. Let's go ahead and pop that in. And we'll come back in a minute and we'll do the ketone. And go into my little container, grab a couple of these Lancets. And remember, these are spring-loaded. I'm going to actually grab some others that we have at the office and bring them in so we can use those. But anyway, spring-loaded. And you basically screw this part off, this top, and when I hit that button, it will deploy the Lancet that's in here. So let's change our scene. So we'll come here, and I'm going to change my mic for just a minute so you guys can hear this. Let's go ahead and pop that in. And hopefully you heard that. And now let's go back here and let's see if we got a good, maybe not as good as I thought I did. See that little tiny drop of blood? We're going to need a lot more than that. So I think I may end up having to do another finger. Let's see. Yeah, that's not going to be enough. Okay. So let's go ahead and open up another one of these Lancets. And this time I need to press harder. And I'll just do it right here. Okay, let's see if that worked. Okay, that's better. All right, so let's go ahead and get that here. Of course, now I have two that are trying to give me blood sugar or give me a. Now that other one is starting to bleed a little bit more. Okay. All right, so Keto Mojo says my blood sugar is 80. Contour, just a minute, will tell us blood sugar is 71. So you notice the ranges. Notice the ranges in them, right? So 71 from the Contour, 80 from the Keto Mojo. On the screen also you'll see the Dexcom says 106. The Stello says 90. And then the Libre, let's go over there, is saying, oops. Let's see, Libre is saying 57. Okay, so right now the Libre is the odd man out. So let's go ahead and pop this out. We'll get a strip in and go ahead and get that started. So if you think you know what my ketones are going to be, go ahead and pop those, put that in the comments. Okay, so we'll get that one started. And of course, as is usual, I'm not going to show you exactly what it is yet. Right? I want you to guess. We're going to change our scene, go over to this guy right here. Oops, there we go. Just as we got down to one. And I'm going to take that off the screen because sometimes I'll change back to that scene and you guys get to see it. All right. Okay, so now I can get rid of this mic. Come back over here. I hope you guys were hearing me. I think Okay. Yeah. So I hope you guys were hearing me as I was going through that because I just realized that my mic may have been in a setting that I didn't anticipate. Okay, here we go. Let's get rid of that one. Okay. All right. So if you, yeah, hopefully you heard me and all the stuff I said. Yes. Okay. Here we are. So before we hop over to our discussion, let's see. We got some conversation going on. Let me pop those up. And let's see, what did we have? Uh, So Steve is saying welcome. Oh, Lightwork said it was a commercial. I said also wanted to say since this journey starting with for me in May when I found out I was type 2 diabetes 10.8, I started fasting and on August 6th it was now 7.3. I was 207 pounds, now 170. Thanks, Dr. Woode, with an E. Wow, come on now. That is what I'm talking about. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. 10.7, 10.8 down to 7.3 with 37 pounds lost. 37 pounds lost. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And so I'm excited for you. You said, way to go. Ways to go, but it's working with the help of this community. I love that. Okay. You said you will be, Pam. I wasn't expecting these results, but I'm encouraged. So Pam said, congratulations. I'm trying to get there. Yes. And so I love that. Yes, yes, Lightworks. We will get there. I'm encouraged by you. I love that. That's the community. That's the community. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about that here in just a minute. So let's hop over and let me. So what we're talking about consistency. Why are we inconsistent, right? So fasting review. So once again, I am now a little over 48 hours into this week's fast. So consistency. Let's go ahead and have that conversation. So consistency, what is consistency? I guess that may be the first question that we want to ask. And consistency, when we think of it, there are a lot of ways that we use the phrase consistent. Things are consistent or consistency. For example, when you cook, right? When you cook, you are making pasta. I know, yeah, it's a carb. It's one of those carbs that we love. When you're making pasta, you boil it, you put it in the hot water, and you put it on the stove, and you're trying to get the pasta to be a certain consistency, right? Certain to get it to be, al dente. They say if you take it and you throw it on the refrigerator and it sticks, then it's good. Or you want it to be just firm enough, right, that it doesn't squish, but not so firm that that it doesn't move, right? So you're doing that. When we are making, when you're doing a steak on a grill, right, you test it for consistency because you want it to be a certain firmness, right, certain give with it. When we teach our residents in the office, there are different physical exam features that we are teaching them. What the stomach should feel like, what the skin should feel like. It should have a certain consistency. So that's one definition, right? How it feels. Is it soft? Is it hard? Is it rocky? Is it bumpy? Right? So consistency. Another phrase for consistency, or another way of thinking of consistency, is it the same? Right? Is the paint on the wall, right? You get somebody to come help you paint, right? And you're looking at it, is it the same consistency throughout the room, right? Is it the same, right? When people are talking, right, we judge them sometimes based on how consistent what they do is with what they say, right? Is it the same? Is it jiving, In this space, when we talk about consistency, right? Well, let's back up and let's talk about why consistency is important. So consistency is important because it's critical to achieving lasting health and fasting success, right? So you can talk about being consistent in lots of different areas. Cooking, like I just said, when we're training, in terms of your speech and your thoughts, painting. In this space, we're talking about consistency as it relates to our health. And so consistency is critical to achieving lasting health and fasting success because we're using fasting as one of those tools. Small, consistent actions compound over time for more significant results. So that's the formula. I want you to listen to the formula. Years ago, I listened to Dave Ramsey, and he's a financial guy, and people were asking him, "Hey, how did you get successful? Or how should I be? Should I work on being successful? How should I work on saving? How should I work on getting out of debt?" And what Dave Ramsey said was consistency. So, well, I'm paraphrasing. So, consistency over time gives results. So, consistency over time gives results. So, the actions that we take, small actions that are compounded over time, give significant results. So why is consistency matter? Why does it matter? Because if you're not consistent, then it's always a crapshoot, right? Today we're good, tomorrow we're not good. So next week we're good, this week we're not good. Next year, hey, I used to do that thing last year, right? So next week, oh, I'm not going to fast on Tuesday. I'm going to fast on Friday. I'm not going to fast this week. I'm going to wait until next week, right? So there are places where that is the case, where you do that. There are places where things come up. But if we're talking about putting our diabetes in remission, we're using tools, then we want to be consistent. So small, consistent actions over time will give us our significant results. So what is consistency? How do we define consistency? So consistency in this case is sticking to a schedule regularly. Simple. Right? How do we stick to the schedule? Maintaining healthy habits. Maintaining those healthy habits. Sticking. Notice those words. Those are action words. So we're sticking to the plan. We're sticking to the schedule. We are maintaining. We're keeping up with. And all the synonyms that you can use for the word maintaining. So healthy habits and a regular schedule. Right? So that's how we define inconsistency in this space. What are some of the long-term benefits of consistency? If we're consistent in this arena that we're talking about, it improves our metabolic health. Remember, we are talking about putting diabetes in remission. We're using fasting, for example, as a tool for being able to do that. And if we are consistent, those small things that we do over time, then that leads to improved metabolic health. Not just in terms of diabetes, because diabetes is the prototypic metabolic disease, but also in our blood pressure and our cholesterol and our weight, as you saw in one of our community members there just a little while ago. Okay? Consistency leads to steady weight loss and better health outcomes. Boom, there it is. Consistency creates mental discipline and resilience. It creates a mental discipline because there are things that are going to come at us all the time. And being consistent is a way to offset that thing that comes and can push us off of our plan. Often we don't fail, not because we fail or we don't succeed, not because we don't know what we want. We don't succeed because we don't have a plan. And we don't have a plan because we're not consistent. Okay? So consistency creates mental discipline and it helps us to be resilient. And so what are some barriers when we talk about consistency? Some barriers: busy schedule. Right? Hey, I can't tell you the number of people that say, Well, I would do such and such for my health. I would prep. I would cook. I would spend more time exercising. I would do all those things, except that my job is so busy. Except that I do so much in the community. Except I do so much with my family. Right? We have a busy, busy, busy schedule. And in this modern era, right, we're just adding more and more things to our schedule. Right? In our house, we have 3 people that are having very different schedules, right? And so we've got to coordinate all of those because we have these schedules. So barriers to consistency, busy schedule. The next one is a lack of motivation. Sometimes we're just tired. And this sometimes will go back to the busy schedule because we are so exhausted at the end of the day that it just if we have to do one more thing, if one more person asks me about did I check my blood sugar, if one more person asks me about if I walked, if one more person asks me if I drank enough water, right? We're just exhausted. We're just tired. Exhaustion, right? So decision fatigue. If I have to make another decision about my health. Another barrier is emotional. We have emotional challenges. Like I told you a little while ago, right? This week has been a little bit up and down for me because of some of the emotional things that are going on in my life right now, right? And as you heard me also say during the check-in, because of the emotions, that affected the mental part of my fasting, because my brain now is wanting to go to those things that are those things that bring me comfort and bring me calm. Stress, right? There it is, another one. Stress, another barrier. When the stress level goes up, that cortisol comes out. Cortisol goes and it finds sugar. The blood sugar rises. The insulin comes out. And the insulin says, hey, let's go eat. And then unrealistic expectations. We talked about this a little bit in one of our check-ins last week, I believe, where we say, hey, if we're setting unrealistic expectations, then we get disappointed in that process, and that is a sure way to send us down the wrong path, down the wrong road. Okay, so unrealistic expectations. And so then what are some reasons that people will give? Or what are some reasons, now that we have those barriers, what are some reasons why we end up not being consistent? Number one, we lack clear goals. We lack clear goals. We'll talk about how we overcome that here in just a minute. So we don't have a clear thought. We don't have a clear plan. We don't have a clear vision of where we're going, right? We just know that we want to do something, right? We want to be healthy, but we don't have a clear path. We don't have a clear goal. What does my health look like? What is the thing that's going to say to me that, yes, I've reached my goal? Right? For me, you guys know I've been tracking blood sugars, been tracking A1C, I've been tracking my weight, all of those things. And so I've got some clear things that I say I want to be able to do this, right? I'll share something with you in a minute where this lack of clear goals came in. So reasons why we're not consistent. Emotional eating and stress, right? Stress comes back to what we just said, one of the barriers, stressing. So emotional eating, right? So last week or week before, for 2 days, I tried to get into a fast. And because of all that was going on, I was trying to get into a 72-hour fast at the time. Actually, it was going to be 96 hours, but at the time, I was going to 72 hours. And I would make it to 24 hours. I would make it to 23 hours. I would make it to 26 hours. And what was pushing me? It was the emotion. And I've shared with you from that HEAT model, habits, emotions, access, and taste. The three that I've struggled with, emotions, access, and taste. The access one, I've kind of dealt with that because I don't bring certain things around. But that taste and the emotions, those two together, oh my goodness. Other reasons, poor planning. Poor planning. We are planning to be healthy. We're planning to do things for health, but we don't look at our schedule, our calendar, and so things overlap or things fall into each other, and then we say, okay, you know what, this is too complicated right now. We're gonna stop this week and we're gonna pick it up again. And sometimes when we make that one choice to stop this week or stop today or stop for this hour, it is another 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, months sometimes before we can pick that up again. The next one is external distractions. External distractions. There are all these things that are out there that are vying for our attention. And some of them are actually good things. Some of them are they're not bad, but sometimes we've got to that we allow the good to overshadow the best. What does that mean? That means that yes, I can go or I can have this whatever it is that I want to eat right now, or I can not go exercise, or I can not drink the water, or I can not do this other thing because right now there's something else going on, and I make a choice. I'm going to do that right now, and then this thing that I'm supposed to be doing for my health gets left behind, and I never turn back, right? We never come back in that loop to pick it up again. And then lack of accountability. You know, this was a big one in our community. That's why I talk about this encouragement, because accountability is so important. Having somebody there with you to say, hey, wait a minute, or having somebody to say, hey, we can do it. That's why, you know, in the gym, when you're doing weightlifting, your bodybuilding, when you're working out, you got a spotter, right? And so because you're trying to lift that bar and you've gotten to, we said we're going to do 10 and you got to 7, right? And your muscles, they're aching and you don't think you can do it. And somebody's, come on, you can do it. You can do it. It's a 7. Okay, good. Okay, one more. 8. Okay, one more. 9. We're almost there. Come on, 10. Accountability, right? That person is there and their energy sometimes gets transferred to you. And then, of course, mental fatigue. We get mental fatigue because all the other things that are on the list, it just comes to a head, and we're like, you know what? I can't do this right now. And we step off the path. So reasons why we're not consistent. So how do we overcome barriers? Number one, we reflect on what's hindering us. The first thing we've got to know is what is it that's causing it. If we want to change it, we've got to identify it. If you don't know, you can't make a change. That's why education is so important, right? The 3 pillars, right? The triple E formula. We educate, we empower, we encourage. Education is important because it gives you data. Now you can begin recognizing things within yourself, in your community, in your environment that will help you figure out, okay, what is it that's causing this problem? So let me look around and see what it is. Number 2, journal. I love journaling. When I'm leaving work, I journal in my phone. Right, I sit and I journal here. And we're gonna have to do a show where I show you some of the things I use for journaling. Right, if you watch some of our old shows, you know I use something called Notion for journaling and writing and so forth. Use a habit tracker. Right? And it could be as simple as having a piece of paper on the wall, or having a calendar where you check off the days. Okay, one day successfully, whatever it is, whatever habit it is that you're trying to be consistent with. I'm going to be consistent with fasting on Mondays. I'm going to be consistent with my intermittent fasting, 16 and 8, right? One day down. I'm going to be consistent with getting up and walking. Right, I'm going to do that 3 days a week, 4 days a week on the calendar. Boom, there it is. I mark it up. Use a habit tracker. Look for recognizable patterns. If you notice that every time you try to do something, there is this thing that comes up, then now you understand that pattern and you can begin making changes because now you recognize the pattern. And then build routines. Routines. I love routines. You know why I love routines? Because I don't have to think anymore, right? I love diagrams. I love protocols. I love all those things because once you get into the protocol, once you get into the routine, everything else follows. Often we don't succeed because we don't have a plan, and a routine is a perfect place to begin implementing a plan. And then simplify the process. Don't make it complicated. Don't say, okay, I've got to get home. I'm going to go change. I'm going to pack my stuff. I'm going to go back, get back in my car. I'm going to drive to the gym. No, that's not going to work. In the morning, last night, tonight, pack your bag. And when you leave work, go directly to the gym or wherever it is. Because if you don't, it becomes very complicated, and that is our brains don't like complications. Okay, so those are ways of overcoming the barriers. And so it's a step-by-step process. Number one, set SMART goals. And we've talked about SMART goals before. We're going to come back and do a show as it relates to fasting and reversing diabetes and so forth. But on the channel, there are a couple of shows that we've actually done on SMART goals. So specific, is it specific? Is it measurable? Is it achievable? Is it relevant? And is it time-bound? Have a plan. These are the things. This is the goal that I have, and these are the ways I'm going to track it. Focus on small, sustainable changes. I'm going to lose, or so here's the one. I'm not going to eat any carbs for the rest of my life. Yeah. How about I'm not going to eat a bag of chips today? Let's start there. Okay. And then celebrate wins along the way. If you're waiting until if you're 200 pounds and you want to get down to 150 and you're waiting until you get to 50 to celebrate, that's a long way. Celebrate them as they go. I celebrate every single pound that I lose. All of it. As a matter of fact, I celebrate every I shouldn't say tenth of a pound, but I celebrate all the pounds. Every pound that I lose, I'm celebrating. Every time I look at my blood sugar and the blood sugar is where I wanted it to be, I'm celebrating. Because it allows me some energy to keep going, right? To celebrate wins along the way. So how do we create routines? We develop daily routines to support fasting, hydration, exercise. So here we're talking about fasting. Here we're talking about reversing diabetes. Here is a suggested plan. To develop a routine, a daily routine. What do I need to do to support my fasting, to support my hydration, to support my exercising? Use fasting apps, alarms, reminders to stay on track. Okay? There are apps that you can get that will count down the hours. There are apps that will alarm for you. It says, hey, it's time to fast, or here's time to break the fast, or hey, another hour is gone. It's kind of like when I drive, I actually play a game with myself. Right? If I'm going long distance. And the game I'll play is, well, one of the games, right? I want to say, okay, every 50 miles I go, boom, I'm doing something. Or I'll estimate where I should be in another 25 miles, right? And so the game I'm playing is how do I beat myself, right? At 25 minutes, sorry, not miles. At 25 minutes, have I achieved the goal that I've set out? Same thing here, right? I'm fasting and I'm going through the fast. Okay, hey, it's, how am I feeling at this particular hour? Hey, it's 24 hours. Hey, it's 36 hours. Did I achieve whatever it is? Give yourself some kudos, right? Get a sticker. Use it, get a day planner. And every hour, put a sticker on the book. Put a check mark. Whatever it is. All right, so create that routine that will help you get to that space. And then plan meals to avoid last-minute unhealthy choices. If we fail to plan, we plan to fail. So if you're not in mind yet about what you're going to eat, what you're going to cook, what you're going to break the fast with, what you're going to eat on your non-fasting days, then you are going to grab whatever's there. And that sets you up to be inconsistent. right? So we want to create routines that help support that. And then accountability and support. You guys knew this one was coming. Find a buddy. Join an online community. If you want to go somewhere, go by yourself. If you want to go far away, if you want to be successful, take people with you because they help to prop you up. You can prop them up. You can bounce ideas off of them. All of that so important. Accountability and support. Share your progress and your challenges. Right? So in this world of social media and in this world of glam, everybody shares the highlight reels. Oh, everybody wants to tell you how successful they are, how much weight they've lost, how beautiful they are, how, much money they're making, how they made this. But they don't tell you the day-to-day grind, the times when they are frustrated, the times when they don't succeed, the times when it was challenging. That's why I like this community, right? Because you guys know, I tell you. Right? Because it keeps me accountable. It keeps me real. It keeps it relevant. Share your progresses and share your challenges. When people see your success, like Pam was saying here just a little while ago, saying the light works, it's like, hey, you're encouraging me when I see what you're doing. And when you hear somebody's having a challenge, you know it's not just you. It's not just me having challenges. There's some people out there, and we can rally around each other and help to support each other. Support can keep you going even when things get tough. Because I get to lean on you. You get to lean on me. We get to lean on each other. Accountability and support, very important in this plan to try to succeed and to reverse our diabetes, right? And being consistent. So how does consistency build confidence? Success builds trust in yourself. If you succeed, when you see that first pound go, when you see that first 5 pounds go, when you see that blood sugar come down, when you see that A1C drop a little bit, when you see your doctor say, hey, we need to decrease this medication, when you see some of the insulin go away, when you see that, right? All of those things build trust in yourself. Say, I can do this. I'm seeing benefits. So consistency helps you build confidence because it helps you trust yourself. It also helps you build confidence because sticking to your goals increases self-discipline and confidence. Your brain does not like to be wrong, and it will find any reason to help support what you're telling it. And so if we're not consistent, then the brain says, oh yeah, that's just what we do. Yeah, this is not going to work for us. And so those negative thoughts begin building to the point where we're like, yeah, we're not going to do that now. We're not going to try that. And then small victories add up, leading to bigger health transformations. You guys may have heard me talk about the inner critic and the inner cheerleader that are with us all the time. The inner critic always remembers the negative. Always remembers the negative. I want you to think about this right now. I want you to process in your mind, right? Is it easier for you to remember some things that are negative about yourself or some things that you did wrong? Or is it easier for you to remember the things that you did right? And for most of us, the things that we did wrong, that's what we remember. So when you have small victories, when you write those down, when you see, oh, my blood sugar went down, my weight went down, my A1C is chipping away, hey, my doctor's saying I'm doing a great job, that helps to build you up, and it strengthens the inner coach, that cheerleader, so that now you have some things to tell yourself when things get rough. And this leads to bigger and better health transformations. And of course, the long-term benefits, right? So it leads to sustainable health improvements, improve energy levels, improve thoughts, clarity, focus. We did a show on that. It fosters better blood sugars, right? Ultimately, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about, hey, how do we reverse diabetes? And it fosters long-term metabolic health. Not just metabolic health for today or for tomorrow or for next month or even for next year, but we're talking long-term, down the road. Consistency. So small changes, small routines, small things that you do over time, if you're consistent, leads up to big and better changes in our health. Yep. Awesome. I love this. I love this. This right here, right, is the conversation. We spend too much time sometimes talking about the food and the lack of exercise and the lack of whatever it is, but we don't spend enough time talking about the places where that comes from. Where does the eating come from? It comes from fatigue. It comes from depression. It comes from, and we can go on and on and on. This is not a conversation about those things. It's about consistency. But consistency stems from the same place. And if I am able to put some things in place that allow me to do it without even having to think about it, those routines, those habits that I build, I become consistent. And when I'm consistent, then it improves my ability to overcome and to get through when I'm being pushed. Do you know why? And I'm gonna tell on myself right now. Right? I'm gonna tell on myself. Do you know why I didn't stop and get that ice cream that I wanted? Why do you think? Because I'm about to get on this show. Right? So I'm fasting. I'm 48 hours. And I'm like, okay, 40. I got to get to 48 hours. I got 72 hours. My folks are coming on for us to talk about this fasting process. Yeah. Also why I didn't get that hot dog. All right, let's see. Let's see. What do we got? So Pam said, I'm encouraged by you. Hey, Pam, thank you. Lady Lutra says, loving your stream. Want to connect on Discord to stay updated on upcoming streams. My username. Okay, so you're looking forward to chatting and supporting your streams. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you for coming through. Lady Lutra. And Steve said, benefit is seeing your retinopathy begin receding. What, Steve? Man. So I love that. One of the things that we do need to talk about as we move into the future is some of those, we talked about labs that we need to do, but some of those visits that we need to be making, right? The visit to our eye doctor, visits to, if you have a cardiologist, visits to the podiatrist, and all those places, because there are some things physically also we need to be looking at. So Steve, thank you, man, for putting that in. Awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and let's take a look at my reports. Boom. Let's hop over and let's use this. Let's look at this one. Okay, and you'll see there on the screen, that is my average blood sugar over the last 2 weeks, last 14 days, 147. And if I change that to 90 days, that should be about 130 maybe. Yeah, 131. My glucose management indicator is 64, so that means if I were to get an A1C now, that's what my A1C would likely be. It's a surrogate for that. I am in target, in range, 86% of the time, and the range right here is 70 to 180. Remember I told you on my device itself, I changed my range to 70 to 150, I think. So I'll get alerted more frequently to keep it top of mind. Okay, and let's go ahead and take a look at my daily graph. And so we're now a little over 48 hours, almost 49 hours maybe, of fasting. And let's see. So we started fasting over here. So let's see, Tuesday, right? So this will be 1, 2, yeah. So we started fasting over here. So right about here. And as I told you before, I actually had started a fast on Monday, and then got into Tuesday, got about 26 hours or so, and broke that fast. And then started a new fast right here about 9 o'clock. And so my blood sugar is 117, 119 here at 24 hours, and then 92, right? 92 right there, between 92 and 104. I'm not sure why it has two graphs there, but that's where I am right now. Okay. Oh, you know what? That is funny. Okay, so now I realize what that is. So here on my report, this top one is the Dexcom G7, and then the bottom one is the Stello. Right. So now it's giving me both graphs, because this is where I start. Remember, I did the Stello and the Dexcom right there. So now it's giving me both reports. And look at that. I didn't know it did that. Okay, so now I'm getting both reports on or both graphs on my report. I should know that because the plan is to be able to look at people's numbers on the report. So it makes sense that both of them are here. It's just had not seen that before. Okay. All right, and then let's hop over and let's take a look and see what my ketones are gonna be. Now, did you put some ketones? Did you see? Did you put what you think my ketones are gonna be? Let's go ahead and pull up my Keto Mojo app. So I'll have to get that. Yeah, let's use this view. Let's go ahead and get that started, and then we're gonna go ahead and sync it. And I should pull that over here in just a minute. And so a little over 48 hours of fasting. What do you think it's gonna be? Okay, let's see. All right, so 80 was my blood sugar, and my ketones are 0.8, 0.8. As you remember, when we talk about ketones that are less than 0.5 considered normal, 0.5 to 1.5 considered nutritional ketosis, and then above 1.5 considered therapeutic ketosis. And so if we're talking about being in ketosis for the fat burning, for blood sugar control, for insulin sensitivity, for all those metabolic benefits, we want our ketones to be 0.5 or higher, right? 0.5 or higher. If we look at this graph, the tan line that you see there, if I can explain that a little bit, the tan line, that is blood sugar, and then the turquoise line, those are ketones. So as my blood sugar has gone down as I've been fasting, my ketones have gone up, right? So when blood sugars go down, insulin also goes down, and when insulin goes down, then the ketones are able to come up because insulin and ketones cannot exist in the same space. If you look at the week before, notice as the blood sugars have been higher as I was eating up to 121, I think maybe, what is that one? 119. As I've eaten there, the blood sugars go up, the tan line, and because the blood sugars go up, the insulin comes out. When insulin comes out, the ketones go down. Okay? And then, of course, into this week where we started fasting, and as we fasted, the blood sugars go down, insulin goes down, ketones come up. All right? Awesome. And yeah. So, consistency. Small changes, small routines, small consistent behaviors over time take us to where we want to be. And so we're inconsistent for several reasons, but there are some simple things we can do to be more consistent. We can develop a SMART goal. What is the goal? What is the thing that we want to do, right? What is is it specific? Is it measurable? Is it achievable? Is it related or relevant? Another way to say that. And is it time bound? Is there a time associated with it, or is this, hey, I'm going to do this forever? Okay, so what are my goals? Hey, I want to have my A1C go from 12 to 7.4. Okay, this is the way I'm going to do it. That's a specific goal. Is it measurable? Yes, it is measurable. Is it achievable? Sure enough. Is it relevant? Is it related to what I want to do? Yes, I want to put my diabetes in remission. And is it time bound? Well, let's give it time. I want to do that, if it's January, I want to do that by June. If it's September now, I want to do that by December, right? So SMART goals. And focus on small, sustainable changes. Little things on the way. Not that I'm going to stop eating all carbs, but hey, I'm not going to eat a bag of chips today. Or I'm never going to drink soda again, but hey, I normally drink 12 pack a day. Let me drink 6-pack a day. Hey, I normally drink 2 liters a week. Hey, let me cut that back to 1 liter a week. Small, sustainable changes over time. And then celebrate those wins along the way. Don't wait until you get there, because a big part of the process is the journey. The journey. And as I've said to somebody before, maybe I've said it here, but in my office, people hear me say this all the time. Done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. If you can't fast for 24 hours, fast for 2 hours. You've done something. Done is better than perfect, because you weren't fasting at all before. Now you've done 2 hours. Done is better than perfect. And then something else you guys will hear me begin saying as we move into the new year, as we get into this last quarter, 91.4. You know what that is? 91.4% of the things that we worry about never come true. 91.4% of the things we worry never come true. And in our process of fasting, in our process of reversing our metabolic diseases, a lot of what causes us to stay off track are those emotions, the anxiety about the future, the worry about the present, and the depression from the past. And 91.4% of all the stuff we worry about, all the stuff that we are anxious about, never comes true. All right, 91.4. All right, I also want to let you know that you have at your fingertips, within you, the power to make changes and to chart the course of your metabolic health. You have unlimited potential. We've got to tap into that. And what we do here, the things that we do, the Triple E formula for success, we educate, we empower, and we encourage. That is with the intention of allowing you to tap into that unlimited potential that you have to make changes. We educate with the shows, with the blogs, with the podcasts. We encourage with the tools that we learn, and we empower with the tools that we learn, and we encourage with the community that you are a part of. Remember, you are an integral part of this community. The things that push us off of our eating plan, the things that push us off of our consistency, habits, emotions, access, and taste, those routines that we've created, those things that trigger our mind, right? The time of the day when we eat, the places that we go where we eat, the people we hang around where we eat. We eat because of habits. We eat because of emotions. We're sad, we're frustrated, we're mad, we're bored. All those things, all those emotions take us up that roller coaster that crashes through our decisions to do other things. Then we eat because of access. We have things around us, and we play with them, where we create stories about them. Oh, I'm going to get it. I'm not going to eat all of it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to break it into small parts. I'm just going to eat a part of it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator. I'm going to put it in the garage. I'm going to hide it under the wherever. But it's in our environment. We eat because of access, because it's there. Because when those emotions come, it's going to go find it. If it weren't there, you wouldn't find it. You wouldn't be able to eat it. But it's there. And when those emotions start to swell up, we're going to eat it. And we eat because of taste, the perfect combination of fat, of carbs, and of salt. That bliss point that says, hey, you just can't have one. And remember, we're chasing the thing that the food does for us, not the food itself. We're chasing the calm that it brings. We're chasing that place that it puts us. We're chasing that memory that creates of that time when we went to that place where we ate that thing and we felt that way. The HEAT model: habits, emotions, access, and taste. When you show up, come and be a part. Join the challenges. Don't let these shows just be things that you listen to and you put on the shelf, but begin acting on them. The challenges that we do, we have one a month. They're with the intention of helping you to implement, to learn, to practice the things that we've been talking about here on the show. Also, when you come, tell your story. Let us know where you are. Are you being successful? Are you having challenges? Hey, let's do it. Let's be the community that supports each other. And then let's invite somebody. There are over 1 billion people on the planet that have diabetes or pre-diabetes. You can be a voice for change at your home, in your families, at your job, in your community center, at your church, wherever it is. Invite them. Say, hey, come along. Let's go do this together. Let's be healthy. Let's be metabolically healthy together. Let's go watch these videos. Let's walk through the plan. Let's walk through New Year, New You. And you can be that voice for change. Remember our pillars of reversing diabetes: decrease insulin, suppress appetite, and reduce our sugar. Everybody, always, always so happy when I am here and be able to hang out with you and to just be in the community. I love the community. I love the space that we're in. As always, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health in your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. And then this year, New Year, New You. Good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow at our check-in, Sunday morning for This Week in Review, and then on Monday for Dwain Woode MD Live right here, 7 p.m. Central, Monday evening. Good night, everybody.